like we have some time, so we're gonna make that. It calls itself a tortilla, but it's European Spanish, and it's egg and potato and sweet onion, pretty much. We're gonna just make that.
Yeah.
First things first, though, is that this fridge needs to be cleaned out. So we're gonna do that. I hate food waste, it drives me nuts. To me, it just feels like a giant fuck you, don't know how to anticipate my needs. You know, which makes me feel bad about myself, because I want to be able to anticipate my own needs. Wouldn't that be nice? Or just have some consistency in that, but the level of flexibility is an important aspect of my life. Ugh. And like, who doesn't have food waste also? You know, I know my exactingly high standards are not necessarily average American. I'm still proud of how I quit Amazon. Cold fucking turkey, same way I quit cigarettes, motherfucker. That's how I feel about it too. Actually still good. Excellent. We'll use that today. Okay. Endless amount of fried rice I never eat. Oh, if only there was someone to eat my leftover fried rice. No, it's just vegetable fried rice. just like plugging away through these social updates, and one of them that I am just anticipating with genuine glee is veganism, or something approximate of veganism. Like, eats meat when out, otherwise never purchases meat for groceries is kind of like my ideal thing, although I guess we could make exceptions for parties, but I really like the idea of being a mostly vegan household. I don't know. I love being exemplars for stuff. I think it's just nice and good for you. And like, trying to be an exemplar of something, just the actual work and results of the work of trying is so good in your life. But I feel like I've just been in professorship lecture mode all day, like even at myself, and I just can't shut the fuck up, and I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted by me. So like, I understand other people feeling exhausted by me. Cannot blame anyone for that. I don't even know where I was going. Oh, we never did these ones. Yeah, the exhausted by me stuff is just default mouth movement when you're used to partnering with people who... Oh, never mind. So much liquid. I know, I'm so sad I did not finish this miso. I got about halfway through it. Nope, it turned into like a binge eating out sort of thing, but in like a glorious, delightful, decadent, overly indulgent, but ultimately pretty, like, not a lot of money in the greater context of the worldness. Yeah, I know. But I just hate waste. And I hate, like, the kitchen is the center of my home, you know, so the further away that I get from it, or the further I roam from daily kitchen rituals, the more unhinged my life begins to feel, regardless of how actually unhinged it is. You know, that perception is reality thing is really real, and I just feel it when I stop eating, you know, first in the body, but then just in the psychological awareness, ongoing awareness of your day-to-day life. That's just like the constant narrative that you're telling yourself, whether it's verbal, non-verbal, mixed. Maybe it sounds like music to you. I had a partner once who I thought their mind sounded like music. I don't know. All I know is I wrote on the calendar Yum Recipe Day for today. And I decided 3 days ago that that probably wouldn't happen. I was having way too much fun eating out. And then I decided yesterday that I wasn't going to follow anyone's directives, not even my own. And then today I was like, wow, I'm out of money, food, time, and ability, except for all of these ingredients that I totally knew would keep, that I plan to like start me routed back into the home eating journey. Holy shit, I anticipated my needs, you know? And then I'm like, all right, fine, we're cool. It's just me, my life, living with myself, you know. Somebody once called me sunshine tears. They're like, you are so sad and so happy, like, about it. What is your problem? Like, I don't have a problem. I mean, I don't, do you? Can you see that? Yeah. I don't know. see what the recipe thing says. I feel like the question and the answer is the same there, right? Like, why are you so sad and so happy? Like, because the spectrum of emotion is pretty much generally described between those two, and we're talking about how we're doing. It's like you classified this as, no, I don't know. Anyway, 2 medium-sized potatoes, 2 whole eggs, and 2 egg yolks. Oh God. I'm so tired of cooking with egg. I really am. Like, I got the soy miso. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. Three and 4. Yeah, I bought more eggs because I really like crepes. I was like, I kept promising myself pancakes for breakfast. And it kept not happening, and I hate promising myself stuff and then letting myself down. It's just, you know, it strains the trust relationship, not my favorite thing. Okay, preheat the olive oil in a nonstick frying pan with rounded sides to around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, because I'm totally going to be measuring that temperature with my thermometer. Chop the chorizo into small pieces, julienne the strips of sweet onion, cut potatoes into small cubes. Okay, I'm not doing all that at once. Cook the potatoes in olive oil until they start to turn golden brown. Add the sweet onion to the pan. Yeah, okay. What a day, though. My boss was like, so how's your project going? I'm like, what project? She's like, your thesis. And I was like, oh, right. I don't know if I'm gonna finish doing that. And she was like, interesting. And that was the main thing she said. It was just like, interesting. And I'm just dying. Oh God, I don't know. There are so many really cool people who have invested in me. And I am so worried that they are going to think that they are not getting their money's worth, as it were. And I know it's not like we should not be thinking about human beings like that, but I think we do, you know? Like, we're used to valuing our labor as a monetary value, so it's the same with like calories, energy, money, you know, like assigning a numeric value to something is a useful way to cognitively interact with it. So yeah, I don't know. Just been thinking about the people I admire in this area and how much they've taught me and what I hope to do with it. And I just hope that, like, if I don't get their wholehearted endorsement, I hope I get their understanding, you know. And I feel like that's all you can really ask for with people, with the world. But I don't know. I'm just saying stuff that's comforting me because I'm feeling sad. And that's just what I try to do. Doesn't make me stop feeling sad, it just helps. It helps in the moment, you know. It helps you through it. So being present with yourself is really important. And it's hard to do, you know. And I love that the general consciousness has been raised on this so much about, like, sorry, I just had like a little rabbit thought. General consciousness being raised. Oh, like the fact that disassociation has entered the common vernacular totally excites me. I'm like, yeah, the people can totally use this. And that's the thing, like, the people can always totally use this. They are really good with words and slang. That's why, like, narcs cannot come up with slang. Right? You hear slang out of a narc and you're like, you get that fellow kids vibe. It's just like, you can trust language to serve people in the end. But language is used and can be used as a prison too. These are just kind of the thoughts I've been having. You're being privy to them. You're welcome. You're lucky. I'm lucky too. It's nice to be here together. But yeah, I've just got to write such hard emails. I wrote somebody an email the other week, and I'm fairly certain that they looked at it and went, yeah, I'm not gonna touch this until next week sometime, maybe midweek. And I could feel them thinking that, and I was like, fuck, I mean, I get it. But all of these means of communication are important and they matter. I know that I run through them like in ways that some people find uncomfortable. But I'm used to thinking of these different like social media platforms as mediums for communication, but they are also like within a broader broader medium of the internet, which is specifically, you know, like the copper telephone wires and shit that they should have updated, but instead pocketed the money for, because fuck you, that's why. But yeah, email is probably one of my favorite and like most sacred means of communicating, and that's probably because it's still the backbone of pretty much all communication, which is wild. Yeah, it's like the entire web of the internet has a single spine. It's wild. But, you know, that's why two-factor authentication had to erupt the way that it did. Which did not leave a lot of room for privacy laws between carriers giving and sharing information about your traffic and your data. But that is how it goes. Okay, what's next? We're cooking. I have my first drug and alcohol therapy session tomorrow. Nervous but excited. Glad we are doing this. Okay, in a separate pan, cook the chopped chorizo until they are golden brown. Whisk together eggs and egg yolk until they are well combined. Strain the potato and onion mixture and add it to the bowl with the eggs. The chorizo, mix everything together until it's distributed, and then in the high heat pan, add the mixture and cook it until it starts to set. Okay. We need a bowl. And we need to chop some stuff. And we need a second pan. Too small. I should probably give seasoning to this situation. generalized European noises. And then this stuff looks green and herbal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That'll give me like border between France and Spain. It's a nice little border. It's very much not the same thing though as like the other 4 coasts of Spain. They're very different places with distinct flavors and culture and dialects and things. It's exciting. The whole world is full of really exciting stuff. Information, people, languages, symbolism, magic. Magic! It is magic. Of course it's magic. I remember reading, it was in my philosophy of religion class. We were reading like classic arguments for and against God as an existence, right? And you have like the problem of evil, and you have cosmological argument, you have I don't know, there's like a lot, but I don't remember who we were reading. I don't even remember why I brought this up. See, the actual like core philosophy knowledge is always locked. It's like never accessible. Where was I going? Oh, yeah, one of the, yeah, I know why it's always locked, that motherfucker. Oh right, this is soy riso, so it's gonna, yeah, I don't know how to cook it. Okay, let's chop that in first. Half of this guy. Oh yeah, okay, so one of those early philosophers, can't remember who it is, probably gonna misrepresent him, but he was like, pretty much, God has to exist because if you can conceive of like his existence, then he must then exist. And it got argued down as a tautology, but tautologies are interesting because they take you in a little loop. And the thinking loop can sometimes be really fun if the tautology is like overly wordy or, you know, in some other way entertaining, you know, like take me on your journey. So initially the guy who was like, if you can conceive of it, then it exists, got like just absolutely annihilated because people were like, oh yeah, okay, unicorns definitely exist just because I thought of them, you know, and I can conceive of many things that certainly don't exist. Just because I can imagine does not mean, you know, I'm so tired of hearing myself say, you know. I really am. I have to hear it back later. This is just like the worst punishment, is to have to listen to yourself this much. But yeah, what am I looking for? People really mocked this guy because they were like, that does not give sufficient or necessary reason for God's existence. And I love sufficient and necessary reasoning because that's like, is this, never mind, you know what, look it up. But people were giving this guy mad shit. Like, oh, I can think of unicorns, that doesn't mean it's like real and it exists, but later, you know, I encountered this concept of reification in sociology, and I was like, reification. Because it really means, you know, to make something real by believing it's real, essentially. So you're creating the reality by deciding to engage with the reality. And this is a very like matrixy type of thinking. that we've all probably encountered before and sort of felt the magic of. But in a social construction sort of way, it's just true. Like, it's just the exact thing that is occurring is this reification of a social construct. This, by investing in it, by everybody kind of agreeing to follow it, like a social contract or gender norms, by these different things, we create the reality that we then live in, the social reality that we live in. And that social reality affects all other aspects of reality because, again, humans are human, animal, social creatures. So, like, our entire existence is built around our social reality in a really large and meaningful way that we could spend our entire lives unpacking and repacking, and we would still never explore every last facet of it because, like the universe, it's endless. But it's really cool. Much like the universe itself. I don't know. No, we need more. We need more onion. I feel like there can always be more onion. That's my personal, passionately held belief. Ow! A little too passionate there, girl. Stabby McStab over here. Yeah, I'm dying, pretty much. And we all are. It is certainly Gothtober on the horizon. Very excited. I've been seeing the signs in all of the symbols, and it's looking pretty lit. Yeah, next month is looking pretty lit. The rest of reality is looking pretty lit. I'm stoked. Stoked and boked. Artichoke. This morning I woke up, I was so fucking mad because somebody, I mean, I always wake up enraged. That's just like my natural state of being. That's why I'm the Tasmanian devil. I just really internalized that animation at a young, impressionable age, okay? And yeah, I woke up super duper angry today because, well, I didn't wake up angry. I woke up and then immediately became angry because I woke up and I looked at my phone and it wasn't on Do Not Disturb, which usually it is. And I saw that I had a YouTube comment, and I was really excited. I'm always waiting for anybody at all to come comment on my YouTubes, because I'm like, fight me in the comments, and they never will, and it's fine. It's just my own little game that I play with myself. I also don't think I have comment settings turned on to the extent to, like, allow everybody, so that might just be on me. I'm missing all the people who want to fight. But, yeah, I had a comment that was like, oh, this sounds like a really private conversation. And I was just immediately enraged. I was like, no shit! No fucking shit! It's a private this whole thing would not function without what the music industry did to Lyle Lovett. If I didn't have my rage about that, of course it's a private conversation. And I died. I was so mad. And then I responded, swiftly and with rage. Yes, this project is, like, highly influenced by Lyle Lovett, or something like that. And I will let you know that I'm that dramatically responsive on behalf of all of my, oh yeah, this is not, okay, well, it's going to be ground chorizo, which is fine, honestly, because it's the soy riso, yeah, it's just there's no way this is coming out in slices. Yeah, it's like a meat tube. Exactly. I remember once reading this, I started my very, very early developmental years, and maybe this will explain a lot about me, but I read a lot of, like, nature survival books, and I also read a lot of like 80s style anthropologist authors writing adventure and romance novels about like mountain men and pioneers and these types of folk and indigenous peoples too, of course. So like that was my only education, I hope, on indigenous people, but my own influence was this just like love for like and romanticization of the American wild during the time of whatever the what years were those? It was like 1850. No, it was like 1750 to the 1890s. It was a long time range. There's a lot going on. Oh no, I've lit something on fire. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a whole. It's a thing. I am having a crisis of faith. This looks so good. Oh, it's time to whisk. It's time to whisk the egg things. Alright, so 2 eggs and 2 egg yolks. 1 egg. 2 egg. Egg yolk. Egg yolk. Every time I send trash to a landfill, I just try to think of like what could potentially grow in the landfill, and I've gotta think Becky Chambers. Gotta thank Becky Chambers for that. I know, my brain was just like, Sue Burke. And I was like, nope, not Sue Burke. Different person. Similar time period that I read them, but different person. And I was like, new name? And the brain goes, Stephanie Meyer. And I'm like, no, though that's Twilight. Really weird that you would throw that one out there when I'm looking for Becky Chambers. But, new name? And my brain was like, nope. And I was just like, alright. So I walked over to the bookshelf and I looked at the books and I was like, aha! Becky Chambers. Gotta thank Becky Chambers for that. No, her second book in the Wayfarers trilogy is all about this girl who escapes like it's a manufacturing recycle center for a planet that was created and still has income disparity. And the people working where this girl works and where she was born and was from are all clones, which is also illegal in the galactic agreement, the galactic social construct. They were like, no, clones unacceptable. You can't clone life and then force it into slave labor or consider it less than human. Clones are just straight up illegal in this entire thing. I can't remember the entire reasoning for it, but we all know clones scary, clones bad. And I would love to read for that later when I'm not trying to make a point. But this girl escapes the manufacturing place that she works at, where she uses her tiny hands to see if she can fix tech and sort through scrap. And she and all the other Janes work there together. She's Jane 26 and her best friend is Jane 33, etc. And they're just overseen by these robots who they call the mothers or mom. And they just have been taken care of by these robots since birth. And she escapes one day and ends up in the junkyard, and she's about to die pretty much. She's actually getting chased by junkyard dogs, I think. And they're vicious. And so it's really just a harrowing tale. And she ends up narrowly escaping and into a abandoned spaceship, and the spaceship has an AI on board, and that AI is friendly. You know, she was built to carry families through the galaxy, and she's just been abandoned and living inside of this ship on this planet full of illegal clones and severe income disparity. And this AI helps the girl grow big and strong and learn about the world and repair the ship so that she can get off planet. And one of the things that she says to herself, as she's going through this absolutely soul grinding experience, is that she is not going to leave her bones on that planet. And it was one of the coolest. Oh, I get shivers still thinking about it. It was just such a good moment. Becky Chambers, y'all. If you need some new sci-fi to plummet the depth of as writers for media, please. It's Becky Chambers, it's Sue Burke, Everett Maxwell, who else? A couple other really cool ones that are just hanging out. Yeah, I'm really a book aficionado. An armchair reviewer. I hate reading the mainstream stuff though, so if it's already popular, I don't want to read it. I'm like, other people write about that. It doesn't need to be me. This is coming pretty well. Just waiting on more browning for the potatoes, really. I think maybe also I should have done smaller cubes. Shall we read some Gilgamesh? The epic that the Bible is based on? At night the moon travels, the gods do not rest. Alert, awake since ancient times, now you consider your help. Gilgamesh, the temples of the gods, the temples of the goddesses, gods, made gift, through his heart, provide humanity, they took his fate. You never rest, and what do you get for it? You have exhausted yourself with ceaseless toil, you have filled your sinews with pain and hastened the day of your death. Humans, your lines snap like reeds, the beautiful youth, the beautiful girl, abducted by death in their prime. No one sees death, no one sees the face of death, no one hears the voice of death, but it is a savage death that snaps mankind. One day we build a house, one day we found a home, one day the air is divided, one day the suns grow bitter. One day the river rose and brought high water, a mayfly drifting down the river, its face turned towards the sun, but even then it could see nothing. How similar are death and abduction, and one cannot draw the image of death, yet no one has ever greeted a dead man. The Anakai were assembled, the great gods, Mami, maker of destinies, fixed fates for them. The gods gave humans life and death, but did not reveal which day he will die. Cool. Oh, I'm gonna love that. That's gonna be like reading the Canterbury Tales, but for midsummer. No, I know. Sumer again. Yeah, it's all Babylon, House of Ur. I know, I'm saying timeline, super cat's cradle. And you're gonna deal with it, because I'm cute. Mostly. If only the woodpecker's eyes, the bark on the trees were as soft as the skies. The wolf waits below, hungry and lonely. He cries to the moon, if only, if only. Caught in a hunter's net, sang sweeter than ever, as though the dawning melody might wing and echo sever. At dusk the hunter took its prey, the lark kissed freedom never. All birds and short to die, but songs may live forever. This soy riso does not know how to cook up. I can tell it has no idea what it's doing. Maybe I was supposed to cook it in the packaging and then cut it once it was fully cooked. I think that was probably what I should have done. I also probably should have just read the instructions, but alas. It is. That's just what happens when you apply old logic rules to new situations that don't require them, or they require different rules. We all encounter that. Happens to me every day. Beneath the willow, beneath the weeping willow tree, and when she comes she'll find me sleeping, and perhaps she'll weep for me. My heart's in sorrow, I'm in trouble, weeping for the one I love, and oh, I know I'll never see her till we meet in heaven above. Bury me beneath the willow, beneath the weeping willow tree, and when she comes she'll find me sleeping, and perhaps she'll weep for me. I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composer. Hallelujah. 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 But now you never show it to me, do you? I've seen your flag on my march. Love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Wanna feel the way that every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Okay, now we're just mixing stuff together. I don't think we need the whisk, right? You're fucked up if you think I'm doing Breaking Benjamin song. It's not that I don't like Breaking Benjamin, Jesus Christ. I'm just in like a slow gothy mood. I know Breaking Benjamin is really goth. They're like too goth right now. I don't know. If you could see how orange this meal is, you would understand. You're right. This is just cruel. Cruel and unusual punishment. That's right. It's important to empathize with our prisoner friends. See what I mean though? Look at how orange that shit is. I've been getting inspired. Okay, soy riso, I feel you. Let's see how this goes though, because I really just don't know about all this. I feel like it was supposed to be more eggy, but also you know, it calls itself a tortilla. It's just so not a tortilla. It's also no wonder that like a lot of people who speak Spanish look at me strangely when I use tortilla when I mean masa or like some other thing, and I'm just like, oh, I'm a rube. I did not understand the nuance of tortilla as a word. I probably do not even pronounce that correctly. Okay, I know it has instructions for how to cook this, but I have my own ideas and I'm going to go with it. Time and a place to go with your own ideas. Yeah, work, maybe not the time or the place. I constantly relearn that lesson. I'm not gonna lie. I always feel better once I start cooking. I have to admit. That's why the whole eating out thing is just so unsustainable. I know we all go through periods of that, so I try not to beat myself up too much, but oh boy, does it feel good to be back in your own kitchen. Yeah. Water is just so good for you. I have no idea how this is gonna go. We're gonna find out together as a team. I'm gonna eat this brownie too. Watch me go. I had brownies for breakfast too. instructions were relatively unclear. It was like, treat it like an omelet and flip it when it's ready. And I'm like, you telling me this thing's gonna flip, like, agreeably? And that is kind of how egg works. So on the one hand, I want to believe. But on the other hand, yeah, no, see, it's breaking. Ugh, I just don't have an even bigger skillet. This is the only size skillet. Yeah, that might be the best option, honestly, is to tip it over upside down onto the... Not even upside down. Right side up. Ooh. And then tip it over upside down. Oh, maybe. Ugh. No, kind of. I lost a significant portion to the darkness. No, it's okay. It's just I had to pick it out of the grill of the other heat thingy. It's fine. It's good. It's okay. It smells good. I'm excited to put this in my belly. So far, this experiment is success. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm broken. Delete me. God, so pissed. So pissed off. Me. I am so pissed off. At literally anything that implies a human life is less valuable than property. And that's everything. I'm pissed off at everything. All the time. I'm like, you would think that of a human life? And not like you personally, but like me. Every time it happens, I'm just shocked and floored and hurt and like, ugh. And then every time I get those like free feelings of what the full value of your one human mortal life actually is. Those like magnificent, magical moments that just feel so fleeting but also infinite. Ugh, I live for that shit. That is my stuff. When Sam in Perks of Being a Wallflower started talking about infinite moments, I was just like, yeah. I actually can't remember if it was Sam or Charlie. I feel like it was Sam and Charlie was falling in love with her for it, but you know, I don't know. I was really, honestly, that book, the main takeaway that I had from that book is that women can both be predators and abusers. And I was like, you know, for somebody who's a feminist, I really need to internalize that. Because I have seen feminists get caught up in the cause of, you know, righteous anti-oppression. And for good reason. You know, it is just absolutely mind-bending, mind-breakingly brutal to fully understand the extent to which misogyny impacts every single woman and every single person's day-to-day life. Much like any form of oppressive thinking. Racism is another one. Holy shit, we are definitely working our way up to discussing race and racism, I promise. But yeah, I don't know, it just seemed really important to me at the time when I was like building my understanding of the world. And you know, I'm always building it, but at this particular time it seemed really important to internalize that women could be abusers, they could be rapists, they could be like people who perpetuate and hand on harm, because that gets overlooked a lot when you are a strident feminist, like dedicated to the liberation of all women. And again with the race, like that is another problem with white feminism, is overlooking intersectional, specifically racial, specifically black understandings of the feminine experience. So, you know, you know, we definitely could talk forever, and maybe we will. But this is technically a food post. Technically. This is looking pretty good, though. I'm excited. Oh, the other thing I was going to buy was avocado, and I did not buy avocado. I'm so sad. That is a shame. That is just genuinely sad. What do I got here? I got some fresh cheese, which we will certainly be adding to the top. And I have some spinach, which I'm going to sneak in on the bottom just to convince myself to eat some nutrients. Spinach is how I sneak it in when I've been away and been being bad. All I've been eating has been meat and potatoes, basically. It's my good stuff. I'm like, go to fried fiend bullshit. And it's so good. I'm not even mad. It was like 1 week of just wild. I had like 2 chimichangas. One was carnitas, one was shredded beef. What else did I eat? I had a burger and bacon, like, and pork back, which was just insane. I don't know why. I was like, part of me was like, oh, I'm on my period, so I just need to replace the iron. And the rest of me was like, girl, don't even fuck with me on that. I could not take myself seriously. And I mean, there is some truth to it, you know, but I have a lot of alternative options and not using any of them. Knowing what was in my fridge. But also waiting to do this at this time. And I was like, okay, I guess it was meant, you know. And I do that, like seasonal, what's the word? It's like feast and fast. Yeah. It's like fortnightly, every other week, feast and fast sort of thing. And it's not even that rigid. It's not even that organized. It's not even that. It's just whatever the body is doing, is dictating it. And I'm more interested in being organized about what the body is doing than I am in trying to micromanage what I eat. Because what I eat will just naturally flow from whatever the body's up to. Okay. This is looking pretty solid the way that you would hope and expect it to be. I'm just going to kind of mess it up a little, honestly. It got messed up already. At this point, it just feels more honest to how it came out. I get the concept though, and I think with less content, I could do it. If I just have the recipe, this would not be hard. But this was too much for little old me. Yeah, I feel like Snow White. I'm literally trying to Disney princess my way out of a Disney future. A Disney owned and operated future. Yeah, join my coven. Join my gang. Become a part of my cult. I'm taking applications. Only internally motivated people allowed. Oh, that sounds mean. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be kind of mean. Internal motivation is so important, though. I can't. It's just like, it's a really low bar. I'm gonna need you to be internally motivated. You have to have reasons outside of me and the cult to want to be here. That's valid. It is. Thanks, I agree. I would hope that we share values if you want to join my cult. Like, I hope you don't see me and you're like, oh yeah, I want to join her cult, but I don't believe in any of the same things that she believes in. You know, like, there has to be some overlap. Maybe not specifics, but the general values, right? Let's move on into the future together as a species. Oh, maybe that one's difficult for people. Maybe as a species is too much to ask. I don't know. I felt some pushback when I said that. Yeah, that came out pretty well. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And it's going to do the job, and then I'm going to have my meeting. So it came in pretty clutch, I would say. Should we read more Gilgamesh before our story ends? Let's go to the beginning. Part of the beginning. He washed his filthy hair. He washed his filthy hair, cleaned his dirty gear, and shook his hair down over his shoulders. He took off his tatters and put on clean clothes, wrapped in a cloak and tied it with a belt. Then Gilgamesh put on his crown, and Ishtar caught sight of his beauty. Come, Gilgamesh, marry me, give me the fruit of your body, be my husband, make me your wife. Let me ready for you a chariot of lapis lazuli and gold with golden wheels and caps of amber, drawn by demons, big mules indeed. Step into my cedar-scented house, and as you step into my house, the threshold and throne will kiss your feet. Kings, lords, and nobles will bow down before you and bring your tribute from mountains and plains, while your goats bear your triplets and your ewes twins. Your donkey will be fastest with its freight, your horse will gain glory in the chariot, your ox will be unmatched at the plow. Gilgamesh worked his words, saying to Ishtar, as if I would ever marry you. Who would wash my clothes and body? Who would give me food and fare? Would you serve me bread that is fit for a god? Would you pour me beer that is fit for a king? Obliged, heaped high, cloak, marry you? You are a winter too warm to freeze ice, a half door that blocks no wind or draught, a palace that crumbles and kills its heroes, an elephant that throws off its rider, a lump of pitch that stains the hand, a flask of water that soaks the cloak, a block of limestone that weakens the wall, a ram that wrecks our walls for the enemy, a shoe that bites the foot of its owner. Tell me, did any of your lovers last? Did any of your lovebirds fly to the skies? Come, let me count out your conquests. There was a man who, his arm, your childhood lover Dumuzi, you damned to sorrow year after year. You loved the bright-dyed rolled bird, but then you struck it, breaking its wing. Now it sits in the forest and cries, my wing! You loved the lion, superb in strength, but dug 7 pits for it, and 7 more. You loved the stallion, eager for battle, but damned to its whips, lashes, and pain. You damned it to 50 miles of gallop, you damned it to drink muddier water, and its mother, Selili, you damned to sorrow. You loved the shepherd, the herdsman, the drover, who always baked fresh bread for you and slaughtered a goat for your day after day. But you struck him and turned him into a wolf. Now his own shepherd boys chase him away, and his own sheepdogs bite at his thighs. Ooh, okay, no, that goes on for a while, so I'm just gonna stop because I'm hungry. It was good though. The Epic of Gilgamesh. Yeah, I don't know, I just picked it up. I was like, this is what the Bible was based on. I never read it. Because it took me a long time to internalize just the, what's the word? Offense. The offense that I felt at the knowledge, that most of what I knew of the world had been shaped by a lie that had been based on this other thing. And the liars who were lying about all of it had lied about a lot of other stuff too. And to top it all off, those liars, never mind.
I don't know where I was going with that. But, you know, there was a lot of lying involved, and I was offended and upset that, like, most of the sorrow and suffering that I knew in this world had sort of been founded on all this bullshit. And then there was this story from, like, ages ago that predates all of it. And I was like, you mean? It was just, it was a letdown. It took me a long time to get over it. So now we're reading the Epic of Gilgamesh without resenting it horribly. And it's okay. You know, it's going pretty well. I'm like, wow. It's a recent translation, so that could be part of it too. I can only read in English. There's plenty. I'm sure there is so many things I am missing, not reading it in the original whatever. It wasn't Sumeric. It wasn't whatever the first written Cyrillic. It wasn't Cyrillic. I don't think it was Cyrillic. Maybe it was Cyrillic. I don't know. You let me know in the comments if you feel like commenting. I'm sorry if I go off on you when I wake up in the morning because all of it is so important.